and welcome to the Fireside Chat. I am Kalpana Singhal, Editor-in-Chief CXO TV, and today we have Mansi Thapa, IT Leader, Head Information Security at Jaguar Group as our guest today. Mansi has 20 years of vast experience in all verticals of IT, information security, SDLC, program management, operations, business processes, business excellence and analytics. She has prestigious certifications like PMP and Six Sigma Black Belt, ITIL, ISO 27001 Implementer, PCI DSS compliance under her belt. The above combination provides her an edge to better understand business processes, people and technology plan, monitor and implement information programs across the organization, legacy software transitions, ERP implementations, IT infrastructure roadmap creation and execution, business continuity planning, incident and risk management, deployment of cyber and information security framework, user awareness trainings, GDPR, application security, etc. Welcome, Mansi. We appreciate you for taking out time and joining us today.
Hi, Kalpana. The pleasure is mine. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. I hope everybody else is also safe.
Sure. Okay, Mansi, to begin up, we want to know more about you as a person. Of course, we will talk tech later, but first we want to know what fascinated you towards technology, how you started, and how's your journey till becoming the Chief Information Security Officer at Jaguar Group. So,
Hi, Kalpana.
yeah.
It is a very interesting question. And yes, I would say security came to me by chance. Actually, if you see my experience, it was mostly into, all verticals of IT. So there, security was part and parcel, which I was managing. So, but from last 4 years, as Jaguar was growing tremendously. So the growth was multifold, and a decision was taken that because I was heading IT also earlier in Jaguar, so it was decision was needed that we need a CISO and a CIO both to run the show. So I thought it's a big challenge. Let me take up something which I really want to strive on. So and because I understand the business, so taking up the CISO role and understanding IT would be a great challenge. So I just accepted that challenge, and that's how security happened. And I'm glad that I did it. As a person, I would say four years back, I was a bit shy kind of person, not into these kind of talks and stuff. But this also just came to me by chance, and I'm really enjoy this now because we as leaders need to give back to the community. So we really try that we mentor people or we learn from other people by listening to other chats, and so I love to be a motivator, to mentor, and especially women mentorship. I really work with a lot of schools so that we can bring up this talent in tech. So that is my passion these days. That how we can get more and more females involved in tech and especially security. So that's about me.
Okay. So, what is the biggest challenge your industry faces today, Mansi?
It's nothing. That everybody would agree with me that it is the pandemic which has hit us. So in pandemic, you know that we are into manufacturing of bathroom fittings and lighting. So I would say in the start it was a big hit because the factories are not working. For us, IT is a enabler. The main thing is that the products need to be made and to be sold. But I would say Jaguar Group really handled it well. We've got great minds, working at the back end. So now they come up with very innovative products which are helping this COVID situation to a lot of hotels and hospitals by sensors, touch-free systems and stuff like that. So that was the biggest thing, that how to get our factories operational and how IT can support, people sitting at home. Because in manufacturing, Kalpana, you would agree that work from home is not a very common concept, so people are not used to working from home. Neither is management used to not seeing people in office. So that was a big change, and I would say it came as a blessing that we were able to do it, and that was the biggest challenge which we overcame during pandemic.
Right. So, what has been your greatest accomplishment?
Okay. So I would say my greatest accomplishment is that my learning curve never stops. So I've taken, everything, every new role which came to my KT, maybe because someone in the organization left and they requested me to take it over, or they said you switch from this role to other. because it was a management decision. I took everything with a pinch of salt, and I love learning. So it has shaped my career to reach at this level. So that's what I tell everybody, that the learning curve should never stop, and that is my biggest achievement. That till date I try to really work on that learning curve.
Right. And what surprises you the most about your job, Mansi?
Okay, so I would say CISOs these days have sleepless nights. So what surprises me the most is that how that we build up so many walls, we do so much in security, we have done everything possible we have thought of, and still, there is a new threat which comes in the market. Now, what surprises me most is that there is a world full of people trying to fight this terrorism of cyber crimes, but still something or the other pops up every day. So that really surprises me, that why we being at the good side of things are not able to find proper solutions for it.
Right. And where do great ideas come from in your organization?
See, the great ideas come from everybody, I would say. But Jaguar's biggest, the key for success is that the management doors are open even for the front line, and even for the junior most resource which is there and have an idea. So I would say it comes from all places, and they keep everybody very motivated for new ideas, and they implement it without bureaucracy or without hierarchy, that who has given the idea and what all approvals are required. So that is, I would say, the biggest growth which Jaguar has taken. But yes, the main ideas these days are coming from customers. They are our
That's good.
voice which we understand to develop our products.
And also, I want to inform all our participants that they can ask their questions in the question box right there, which will get answered by Mansi. So, moving forward, Mansi, as a CISO, how were you able to integrate different domains like audit and compliance, SDLC transitions, infrastructure management, BPM, analytics into security ecosystem?
Yeah, so Kalpana, let me ask you a question now, because you're asking me so many. Okay, so what does brakes do to a car? You tell me.
So, sorry, I didn't get you.
What does brakes do to a car? The brakes, you apply brakes to a car. What does that do to a car?
So of course, I mean, in an emergency, so it has to save.
Right, perfect answer. But I would
Yeah,
say brakes provide you speed. You can go on a certain speed only because you have brakes, right? So
right.
that is what security is to an organization. That is the motto I teach everybody in my team, and I thrive that they understand this first. So that is how I integrate. This is the first level of mentality which every business owner need to have in an organization. That security is not there to stop your work, to tell you this is not right, shouldn't do it that way. Even security teams, sometimes what happens, security team mindset becomes that way, that they say that no, this is not allowed, that is not allowed. No, we being CISO or we being security team, we have to be enablers, but at the same time make sure the things are in good perspective. So that is the first thing which really helps me to integrate among all the different functions. Secondly, I would say I was blessed that I've worked in all these domains, be it SDLC, analytics, infrastructure, whatever you call about for IT operations. So I understand the pain areas of what all these people face if security is really pressuring them to do some things. So that helps me to integrate them better. That I've been there in their shoes, so I understand how to well integrate it. But on from the security standpoint, from a senior standpoint, we should always provide them with very clear cut policies and standards, which they know that this is what we need to work on, so that we can integrate things better. We should have a culture of security. Security has to be inbuilt in your design. Whatever you are doing, maybe you are doing an audit, you are doing SDLC transition. So it should not be that security is an afterthought and a security person comes in saying that now you do this. No, at the time of design, the culture of the organization needs to be such that it gets integrated. Thirdly, do a lot of trainings of all these people who are heading or maybe looking after all these domains. So that will really help integrating all these things across.
Very well articulated, Pansi, I must say. How would you recommend application of AI and machine learning into security, and what sort of roadmaps should organizations follow for that purpose?
That's a very good question, Kalpana. So I would say you need machines to fight machines, right? But having said that, despite we see in the movies, machines are not about. We see in the movies that machines are replacing human beings. That's not the case. Machines are not about to replace the need of human intelligence. The future of cybersecurity isn't about man or machine. It is about man and machine. You know. So what we need to do is the secret of actionable threat intelligence lies in playing it to the individual strengths of machines and human analysts. So machine perform all the heavy lifting, data integration with use of machine learning and AI, pattern recognition, etc., and provide a manageable number of action insights, so that now human analysts can put his brain on it and take an action. So the battle in threat intelligence is balancing time and context, right? I'm sure everybody will agree. So analysts need intelligence prompted, decisions which so that he with a specific time he can take a decision. So that is what we really need to look at. So I would say the key battle is securing it. Is insecurity is balancing time and context. It's essential that we respond quickly to security incidents, and that is where really AI and ML capacities help us. But at the same time, we should not, just jump in and buy any AIML or just, decide that yes, everybody's buying because there are so many vendors saying that AIML is present. So we should just go and, start just buying and putting in products. We should see what is our need, what is our risk appetite, and what is our crown jewels, and try to put AIML there. That is what, I really feel. So I would say that as a roadmap, as you asked, these days what's happening is that the shift from network perimeter security is shifting from endpoint security, because endpoint is the first line of defense, especially now, like in COVID situations everybody's working from remote. I'm sure you are at home, I'm at home. So all that, your security paradigm shifts. You don't have that legacy anymore that in network you have a firewall and everything will be protected. So look for starting, look for an endpoint which has AML capacities, so that it can understand the human behavior, understand the system behavior, and quickly detect an anomaly and give you a alert that something is wrong. So that is what I would suggest.
Yeah, absolutely. The machines are there to augment people to the, uh, and it's not the alternative to human.
Correct. Exactly.
So how would you predict the evolution of a CISO role in terms of synchronization with other business functions and CIO, CDO in the future?
Yeah, see, here I would say you will agree that words like hacking, malicious, phishing were very not known to a person who was not IT, right? They were always terms which were used by IT people. But these days, you, me, everybody hear this, and we all understand what this is. So this is the importance of this role now. So I firmly believe that first and foremost, CISO needs to be chaired at the board level. It is a it's senior leadership position, and it should gel with that. It should not be that there is any conflict of interest with the CIO. No hard feelings. But what happens is sometimes, because we all know CIO is into this position of delivering time, and he wants to reduce the time to the market of his softwares. But sometimes it can lead to the cost of not implementing all security controls. So the CISO should be in place at that level so that the voice is heard. One is there. Second, I think the most important role of CISO. This is where the CISO should be chaired, right? But what is the role of CISO? I would say 55%, KRA of a CISO is to align the senior leadership mindset from being, like I said before, like, they think the security being something which enforces control and hinders our work, to a culture where they feel security is something which will help them move faster. They need to understand that they need to own the security posture of their specific departments. They need to understand that we are here to protect their crown jewels. We are here to protect their critical processes from a malware, right? Now suppose it is a very critical process of SCM that truck needs to go out, but because the system which was scanning the barcode goes down because of a malicious attack, the entire supply chain comes to a standstill. So these kind of information and this kind of awareness needs to be put in for all the C level so that they understand the importance of security. That is very important. And slowly and gradually, I really feel CISO should move from that an IT function to a very advisory function, and business owners need to be the the risk bearers and the owners of security. They need to implement it. They need to understand the importance of it.
What is the operating business model of Jaguar Group and how all does technology drive this business?
Yeah, okay. So Jaguar has, as a business model, I would say they have got presence in globally in Europe, South Africa, in South Asia, Africa, etc. And India, we are the market leaders having more than 70% share. And I would say it is a highly customer focused driven company. And they really work in providing the best quality solutions to the customer and especially to the Indian needs. But having said that, I would say that it is a very, very technology driven company as well. And I'm always amazed to see the budgets and the vision the senior management has for technology, which is not so common in manufacturing companies. And we had deployed something which people are deploying now, like let me give you some examples. Like we have a dealer management system already in place with on which all our dealers and distributors are there. It is an online based system, so it is an ERP which we are given to the dealers free of cost, so that they can also use the technology and it helps them in their customer management, stock management, finance and order management, things like that. And this software is very tightly integrated with our ERP. So, they get regular updates on their price list, the discontinued items, the stock availabilities with Jaguar, the material which has been dispatched to them, their barcodes, and, stuff like that. So, it provides you a complete automation of the dealer management, which happens in Jaguar. Secondly, let's look at the customer care. I know Jaguar's model is that our customer care is, available at even in a gaon, I would say. But it is, not many people know it is completely automated, from the call center. When your call lands, when the call is recorded, it has got automated algorithms which by the call it comes to know that what kind of a call it is. It gets transferred to the personnel who doesn't have a call automatically based on the region. And it tracks all the tat which is there or any complaint which is again and again coming in. So that is also all automated and technology driven. Now let's come at our manufacturing units, right? Our manufacturing units have got world-class robots which are using technology. Our lighting division using IoT heavily in their products. So, and the best thing which we did was we just implemented an automated storage and retrieval system, which is like, a machine which goes and gets the material out, because you can understand we have a big SKU and a lot of, products which come out. So a lot of small parts and inventory needs to be managed. So it is all automated through an automated storage and retrieval system. So I would say we are far better than a lot of manufacturing companies where technology is concerned.
So what are the major adoptions in your supply chain management and mobile applications usage by your sales staff and customer care teams?
Yeah, so as I said before, like in customer care, all my customer care staff has an app, or a Jaguar customer care app on their machines, on their mobiles. So what this app does is that the moment job is given to this customer care personnel, he goes and he can just see where the location is. So it is all geofenced. So by that what I mean is, so he can know where I need to go. He can take the route. He can select what is the closest route to reach this location. Secondly, whatever work he has done when he reaches a customer location, he can just record there and then. He can even take a customer feedback, a photo, and load it using the mobile app, and it gets synced to our main system. So that is a beautiful system how it works. Secondly, I would say, as you rightly mentioned, like what support are we giving to our sales staff, right? So sales staff also has a similar kind of sales, app which is there in their mobile phones. So it first and foremost it gives them that okay, these are your 12 customers, and it geotags it. Secondly, it shows them notification that this is the last time you visited the customer. This is the interaction you had. Do you want to reschedule a visit? Thirdly, if he's in the locality, it'll prompt saying that, you are here, do you want to visit this customer as well? Fourthly, it lets them give a quotation from the handset itself to the customer. Fifth, it also, helps them to record that, okay, there's a new customer, so they can take a picture and they can just geotag. So the address, everything, they don't need to type. It just comes in. They can do voice notes. They can do, written notes and whatever, and just press a button and it goes and syncs to the main, the main server. Now, if they are going to a new customer, they can even look at, what we call in Jaguar is customer's Janam Kundli. So if someone else has already visited on that customer, what all, if he had bought something, so with a click of a button, you can see what all Jaguar people has done the integration there. So that is the use of mobile apps. Where SCM is concerned, I would say that we are highly automated. So our warehouses, I would not say they are less than Amazon warehouses. Not to quote anybody, but they are so let me start with the warehouses. They're like completely automated Wi-Fi enabled, CCTV enabled warehouses where everything is barcoded. Everybody knows in which stack, all the stacks are barcoded. So you just say that this is my sheet, dispatch sheet, and I want this material. So automatically, you know that this is in this rack and this is the route you need to take and just pick your material and, for the pickers to get the material out. My entire manufacturing is barcoded. So starting from a product which starts getting made to the dispatch to it reaches to the customer, it is all barcode and tracked, and every piece is a single barcode. It's not a batch barcode. Every piece has a unique barcode. Our supplies are tracked by GBS, GBS fencing. All our procurements are on automated algorithms, based on what all information we are gathering for our sales tools, that what are our prospect banks, how we have, there is a lot of algorithm on what is the market trend, and that's how we position our procurement for our suppliers. And this is what we need. It's not an ad hoc thing that, send us material and then we are left with inventory. So I would say that our SCM is highly, highly automated.
And what about the shop floors? Like you talked about geofencing, and
Right.
tell us more about the technology being, used at Jaguar on the shop floor also.
Yeah, so on the shop floor also, like one major thing which we are using is the CCTV cameras and stuff. But the main thing which we are, like I told you, right, the automated inventory control retrieval system. So what it does is on the shop floor, you need hundreds of, small parts which goes into a main part. So now to track what is my inventory there, how do I, take it out, what are my stock levels in that. So that automated retrieval system really helps me out there. Also on the shop floor, we have robots which are in place. So on robots, what happens is that you just feed what all you need, and it helps you prepare your products in the high quality standard which you have already put. So that is the kind of technology we are using in shop floors.
That's wonderful. How is the security infrastructure synchronized with the other technologies?
Yeah, so I would say, like I said earlier, that security is the part and parcel for all the technologies we are using. Because, what we have done is that we have a very robust user awareness system, first of all, so that all our departments know that, even if they are trying to buy a new technology, or they are using an existing technology, so what are the risks, and they know they need to come back to security to ask, like, is there any risk in me deploying this technology? How will you integrate the infrastructure with the security infrastructure? So all these things, all these processes are already laid, which are already there in the system, right? So it is like all user awareness is there, and also in place as well. So if anyone tries to put in any new technology, and maybe they're not aware that they need to come back to security, we get an alarm saying that a new switch or a new machine or a new something has been detected which is not my IP. So very quickly we can turn around and work on the security aspect of things.
Right. So, in the light of the COVID-19 crisis, business continuity planning has become critical for all organizations. How will you recommend auditing in order to
Right.
have a safe, secure BCP in place?
Yeah, so see, first and foremost, I would say for any BCP, these days, first and foremost, we need to make sure that our personnel is safe, right? So that things need to be taken care of. Having said that, now being an IT person, first and foremost, I would say that put in for auditing, and I would say even for security, have a good BCP in place. First and foremost, look for a very good endpoint protection in place, which have a good EDR capabilities. So by EDR, what I mean is endpoint detection and response. So this is a tool which helps you, sitting at a central location, you can manage all your endpoints and look at what is happening. You can audit, you can see is there any anomaly which is going on. Alarms can be raised. Even in some of the EDRs, automated action can be taken by the EDR itself. Because these days we have crunch of manpower, right? Because some of people may not be available, some people might be having internet issues for your IT support. So these kind of rules can also be set up for your audit, that if some anomaly is detected, so that should not be in place. Second, for audit function, I would say that have a very least privilege model in place, so that the audit infrastructure or the audit, your surface decreases. What I mean by that is, let me take an example. Now let's take an example of a USB, right? Now, I am sure that 70% of the people in our organization do not use a USB drive because they don't need it for an official purpose. And USB is something which which is the easiest way to, hack a system and then reach your network. So work on the least privilege model, that close all the USBs and then only open after audit whosoever needs it, right? Now, add the second example is admin rights on machines. Now, make sure the all admin rights are not there on the machines, and only audit and give to those who really require it. Next, I would say for audit, it's very difficult sitting in in a remote location and to look at audit from all perspectives. So first and foremost, prioritize key business functions. Understand what is their crown jewels. Understand what is their main business processes or main machines on main equipment. If it goes down, it will have a lot of impact on your BCP. So that prioritization is very important. I'm sure in this your risk registers will really help, because when we implement ISO 27001, we create risk registers for all departments. So in that you get a severity model, that which is my vulnerable assets, which will need that my BCP needs to function at any cost. So that really needs to be looked at. Fourthly, when you have identified this, now if that data or whatever, which is critical for you is residing on an endpoint, yeah, only for those critical systems, make sure that you have a good DLP, a good data leak prevention solution in place. So all this together will help us, shape us better and make sure that our systems are, up and running. And of course, then you have your CISO audit calendar, which is already in place, which you really need to look at for all the servers, and all the drills need to be in place for so that nothing whatever you were doing earlier than pandemic, you need to make sure that in this situation, you need to follow those drills and make sure that, take downtime, follow your drills, whatever you have. It can be a firewall drill, it can be your, failover drills, whatever drills you have in your calendar. Even I can share some if you want later, someone can connect me offline. I have a full audit calendar in place. So, that will really help. You should always have a audit calendar in place with clear responsibility markings, that this person is responsible for this, and these are the reports which you expect to come out, and how to mitigate if something comes wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mansi, in a manufacturing setup, IoT is gradually becoming mainstream. What are specifically
Yeah.
the challenges, especially from the security side, to have a perfect synchronization between IT and OT?
Yeah, so what's happening in OT and IT, I would say even IT is a lot of shadow IT, what we say. So by shadow
Yeah.
IT we mean is that a lot of most of the department now have SaaS deployments of apps. They have IoT. They want to integrate maybe IoT devices with Alexa. Now OT is also there. Now a lot of lot of sensors are being deployed, and a lot of startup systems are there. So, but a small leak can jeopardize your entire security landscape. So the first and foremost challenge which I have been facing and which we are really working on is, again, I would say user awareness. That they need to understand the security landscape, how one small leak can reach to, a major jeopardy of the network, and even entire operation of the company can go down. So you should really, really invest on giving user awareness. We can put hundreds of products of security in place, but insider threat, and that too of an unknown. is now rated #1 priority of almost all CISOs. So we should really, work on user awareness. We should have our own process, as I told you, in place that, that some kind of mechanism security needs to put in so that if any new thing comes in, the trigger comes to security and they can go back to the departments and understand what they have done. Third is, yes, we should have our own audits that if we see an anomaly, even if department is not implemented, we go back to the department, ask that is this, something legitimate, and if it's not, we quickly remove it. So that is what, but yes, it is a very big, I would agree to your question. It's a very big challenge, and we are also learning in this channel right now because IT is no longer, desktop and just networks and servers. The perimeter has really increased with this IoT and OT coming in.
So what is the SOC infrastructure at Jaguar Group? What is the roadmap for SOC management?
Yeah, so what I would say is that for me, SOC is not only infrastructure but a very good combination of people, process, and technology who work together. They identify, monitor, and security incidents, and then help us to mitigate them. So where Jacquard is concerned, I would say that we have got a good team of security analysts which are very well trained to manage any kind of security incident which comes in. We also, so in the people perspective, we also have some consultants on board which help us manage our SOC. Thirdly, we have, in terms of technology, we are now implementing a SIM tool which helps to integrate all the different logs which we are getting from different places to integrate and show us where is there any anomaly which is going on. So SIM is a very important thing where SOC is concerned. We should really work on implementing it. Sorry. Next, we also have a VAPT, things in place. So every 3 months, we do a vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, and we try to implement whatever critical things which come out from, these kind of things. And as I told you, we have now an EDR in place so that the SOC can manage the endpoints from a remote working. So that is there. And we also have, network monitoring tools in place, which help us, understand sitting here that if any network device or anything is all of a sudden triggered or all of a sudden, on our SOC, we can see that something has, really come up, which is not in our periphery, and the SOC can really, take a quick action on it. So also we have a ticketing tool in place where people can go and, quickly raise a ticket. We also have automated tickets which come in from the firewall or other security devices for the SOC to manage. But yes, I would say we are still learning. So for a roadmap, I would say we should always have a SIM in place. We should have people. It can be either your people or it can be a consultants, which are continuously, helping you, integrate all the new vectors of threats which are coming in. And we should have EDR at least. EDR is a very good tool now, which helps you, get control over your endpoints. So EDR tool is a must for any SOC management.
And what is the roadmap for Global Protect implementation at the Jaguar Group when we talk about tools?
Yeah, so Global Protect, I would say it's a lovely tool, and I'm very happy to announce that Jaguar is 100% on Global Protect right now. All our machines are working on Global Protect, and I would say this tool has helped us to take care of this pandemic without any problem. And so even on our desktops, we have Global Protect working, which helps us, to use secure VPN to, manage everything remotely. So Global Protect, and even in our all our global, desktops and endpoints, we have Global Protect implemented 100% on our systems. So I'm very glad to, say that.
So what has been the economic and business impact of COVID-19 on Jaguar Group function?
Yeah, so economic impact, as all of us know that, like I said earlier also, our business was hit because our factories were closed, our dealership were closed, our display centers were closed. So of course, these 2-3 months, it was very, like there was no income being generated. But having said that, I would say Jaguar is a highly innovative group of people who strive to survive in every situation possible. So this is our baseline, this has helped us to grow, and this is what we follow in IT and for other departments as well. So where IT is concerned, I would say we were ready at day one. Most of the companies were striving and struggling because, as I told you, we had Global Protect in place. So had we had VPNs in place, so we didn't have to, go and buy any VPN licenses for desktops or laptops. Our home work from home policy was laid. Our users were trained on how to use it. Most of our desktops were, Wi-Fi enabled, so people just, could easily just pick up their desktops and go home, and just everybody has a Wi-Fi connection, right? So they could easily be working. And we had very secure policies in place already, like no one has admin passwords. Admin is blocked. USBs are already blocked in our this thing. We have a very robust endpoint solution already running. We have an EDR already in place. So from the security standpoint and from the IT standpoint, and we also have bandwidths in place because we had already have contracts with our data centers that we can increase our bandwidths. So from the IT standpoint, we didn't, face much problem. But yes, somewhere where I had to give, personal desktops and laptops, that was a challenge which we faced, and we tried to mitigate it with DLP policies which we were running. And from business standpoint, I would say that we have now integrated IT again into the new innovations which are coming up. So use of lot of sensor-based, products are coming up for faucets, for bathrooms where you don't need to touch by hand, and with the use of feet, the water comes flowing and things like that. So again, innovative ideas are coming in use of technology and AI and ML, and we are, really thriving, and we have picked up our business quite well.
So, will you like to name what kind of office solutions you are using, for managing your remote?
Yeah, I can name. So for VPNs, we are using Global Protect with Palo Alto firewalls at the back end. So those are very robust firewalls, and I would say that even in Palo Alto firewalls, so there is a tool called BPM, where BPM, where you can even take a report out from the firewall to know where you stand versus the best practices around the world. So Jaguar, I think, is the only deployment in North India which is standing at 99% of deployment. That we have done the best practice. So one thing I would say that one thing is to have a tool, but second thing is to use the tool fully. So that will be my request to everybody, that implement a security tool, but use it fully, and for the best of its capabilities, and configure it properly. Secondly, what we are using is CrowdStrike as our endpoint protection, and which is the market leader right now. And for EDR also, we have CrowdStrike. Thirdly, where the admin password is concerned, and IT support also doesn't need admin password to log in into the system and do any work. There we are using the paid version of AnyDesk, which really helps them to take a control of the system, and admin password is not required. For USB blocking, again we are using CrowdStrike. For DLP, we are just we are using an open source. I will not name it, but we are now evaluating some different tools which can help us work on DLP better. And that's what it is.
And will you like to tell us about the collaboration tools also that you are
Oh
using
yes,
for?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good point I missed. Yeah, you're right. So by collaboration tools, we are using Cisco WebEx right now, and you know that a lot of the big players have been really kind enough to give this facility free of cost to their existing customers for now, using WebEx, and we're also using LiveSize for our video conferencing. And I would like to add that this has really helped, the collaboration tools have helped us multifold to handle this COVID situation better, because earlier we were not using much, only our senior leadership was using the VC, which is called LiveSize. But now with this collaboration tools, we are even so it has really helped us, to show in our customer base as well. So now our customer teams are engaging virtually with our customers and showing our products with the use of these collaboration tools. That's a very good thing. And now maybe later we'll evaluate the new tools which are now coming in for India, the new collaboration tools. I'm really excited to look how they have gelled in all these features and the security.
Exactly. And I think they are really important for both employee experience and the customer experience. If they are
You are
important.
exactly right. Yeah, we are using it right now, right? Otherwise, we would have been sitting in a hotel and doing this interview. So collaboration tools have really made life very easy.
True. Okay, so would you like to share some figures, like how much the business got impacted earlier? What were the figures, and now during the COVID, what are the figures when it comes to business, which has impacted on Jaguar Group?
Yeah, yeah. So I cannot, give the figures. That's That is not something which I would like to say. But yes, in terms of percentage, I would say, as I told you, like last 3 months, it was very tough. But now, since the operations have started, the work has really grown. And because of these new initiatives which are coming up, so we are geared up that we will be able to hit our targets which we have, made earlier for sales. So we are really looking at it in a very positive way. The things are looking very positive now.
So percentage wise, if you'll compare, so something like,
Yeah, so
there
I
is
think 30% hit was there for last 3 months, but
okay.
now things have really picked up. Yeah.
So how are digital technologies going to help you tide over the crisis without significant business disruption? Though you have told us many things about it, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So that
Uh,
I would just sum up, what I said earlier. Like
yeah,
what you mentioned is it was perfectly, the first thing is the collaboration tools, right? It's the digital technology which is really helping us shape up things in a better way. Second is, of course, this virtually connecting with the customer, and that is what we are really looking at. That showcasing them virtually. There are softwares now where you can create a bathroom, create a product, put in your products, and show it to a customer. So that technology is really helping us out. Third, we are also looking at VR technologies, right? So, we are giving this facility to the customers that it is not only on the paper that they're seeing that this bathroom is made. So virtually 3D effects, they can see that how a bathroom will look. Because you'll agree with me, like you spend around 1 lakh of rupees to redesign or develop a new bathroom. So it'll be perfect to see that how will it shape up once the products are in place. Also, I would say that this disruption has given us a new norm. I was just reading somebody's article. I think she's also a CISO in a big company, that she was also saying that work from home in India was not a culture, but now it has, this disruption has forced us to believe that that is also possible. So that opens up a good box of, what all technologies now we can use where work from home is there, and like, how to, now we are looking at technologies like how to analyze how much work has been done. Now it's not that you need to be present in office 8 to 5. Flexibility of working is coming in because of the use of technology. Otherwise, like everybody would have panicked if the technology was not there. So
earlier it
yeah,
absolutely, and I'm sure moving forward, lots of the almost everybody will retain these technologies and they'll continue with it.
I'm sure.
Continue.
And I think it will get your cost drastically down for infrastructures. Like you need to
Exactly.
manage a seat of IT. There's so much of, but if you can manage it from home, the companies also benefit from less overheads, no overheads.
That's true. So my last question to you, Mansi, that what is one biggest challenge CISO faces today?
Yeah. So again, I would say, Kalpana, the biggest challenge which the CISO feels these days is endpoint security. How to make sure that my endpoint working from home, attending to a different network, how is that secure? Because that is my data secure on that endpoint or not? Because yes, everything else is just business as usual. Our servers are where it was earlier. Our robots are there where it was earlier. Everything is there. The only thing which has changed is now my desktop or my laptop has moved from my premises to a remote premises. So that is why I'm saying that our focus should now shift from perimeter to endpoint security. That is biggest challenge, and we need to mitigate it very fast.
Right. Thank you for answering that last question, Mansi, and it was a complete pleasure having you today here. I really
Same here,
appreciate your
Kalpana.
time. And thank you everyone for joining us. Stay safe and take care.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.